Hello everyone, this here is going to be a guide on how to beat the final VR mission. I'm going to be showing you my equipment setup as well as my materia, and then we're going to go over some strategies on how exactly you beat the bosses. But what I want to show you here first is how exactly I upgraded my equipment. I reset my equipment and all the points so that way I can show you just how much I spent and how much I didn't need, so that way you can tell if you need to get more manuscripts or not. This is the earliest possible that I could find that I was able to do it. So I'm going to show you here the upgrades that I used and why. Starting with the hard edge, I capitalized on as much attack power as possible, and this is going to be a purely physical strategy save for Aerith, so I didn't take any magic attack power at all. But I did take the buff duration because I wanted to make sure that any buffs that I have, like barrier or mana wall, would be up as long as possible. It's going to be very important for Bahamut. If we're not taking any attack power, that's just a little bit less SP that we're going to be using, and you'll find that one of the things that I did was I didn't take all of the materia slots. That one's because I didn't really want to link materia if it wasn't necessary. So you'll see here again that I did more attack power. I didn't take any of the aerial attack damage because the only aerial boss would be Leviathan, and you'd mostly be attacking the fin. There is a part where he does fly, but there is a way to bring him down without having to use any magic. Then you do go into Punisher mode pretty frequently, so I did take that bonus, and the crippling damage is for monster parts, and that one is going to be useful for Pride and Joy prototype as well as Leviathan. We took some more attack power here, and we left out the magic attack power. Stagger Siphon is kind of helpful. You can leave it out if you find that the heal is pretty negligent, but for the most part, like, I kept it in there just because survival is pretty key in making sure that you can make it through these fights. If you don't know what it does, when an enemy is staggered, then you will get heals for the attacks that you do. Some more attack power here, and then we leave out another magic attack power bonus. We do use our limit breaks as often as we can get them up, especially on the Bahamut fight. So we took the limit break bonus, and we didn't take Bloodsucker because the only time that it would actually be helpful was during the Fat Chocobo fight, and that fight isn't difficult enough to warrant getting the Bloodsucker perk. So we left that one out, and we got the materia slots. So pretty much right here, I'm showing you that the materia slots, we want to get as many as possible, but we don't want to link them. And the ones that you want to leave out are going to be the ones that cost the most SP. You'll notice this as you get materia, it'll tell you whether or not it's additional or if it's linked. Depending on the weapon that you're upgrading, sometimes you have to go through the linked upgrades before you can make it to the additional upgrades. If you have to link them, then go ahead, whatever it takes to get to the full 6 slots. But once you're at 6, you don't really need anything else. If we're going to be linking any materia, and we will, then you can easily just do it through your accessory. Especially since the only materia that we're going to be linking is going to be elemental. We're going to be using elemental ice in this run. You can use elemental fire if you'd like to, and that'll make Ifrit a lot easier, but it's not necessary, especially since we're going to be using our limit break to completely take him out of the fight as soon as he comes in. For the next one we're going to have, it's going to be Tifa. Tifa is going to be using Purple Pain, which is her final weapon that she gets from Missionary Building. This weapon is going to be a little bit more expensive to upgrade because it is for her final weapon, so we only have 62 SP left. We spent a total of 294 SP. The upgrades that we're taking are going to be the HP upgrades and pretty much any offensive and defense upgrade that we can find. Certain upgrades like attack bonuses for aerial or part damage aren't going to be that important. We don't really rely on her too much for damage, more of just bringing up the stagger. But whatever helps, we pretty much just grab it. So here we grabbed all the HP, all the speed, all the crit rate and damage ups, and then the physical defense and magic defense. Even if it's got like a threshold bonus where you have to be low HP, anything helps really, because you want to make sure you survive all of those big attacks. Then we have the attack damage boost, which is obvious. It's the offensive boost that we want to grab. And then we have the unbridled strength damage boost. We're going to be trying to keep up the unbridled strength damage stacks as much as possible. But you always want to keep 3 up. The concentration bonus, it's not necessary. It really depends on whether or not you want to have a stack coming into the fight. It's not guaranteed. It is 70% chance, but you never know when that ATB that you would normally spend could end up being a heal or a true strike. We do have some more critical hit rate ups, and then we have the limit break bonus, which we talked about with Cloud. We want to make sure that we do as much damage with our limit breaks as possible. And then we pick up the Materia slot as well. Again, we don't want to pick up any unnecessary Materia slots that link. We went for the attack power and we left out the magic attack. We went for more HP. Speed is also helpful, and then we kept going with the critical hit damage bonuses. The weapon abilities are going to be used pretty frequently, especially something like True Strike, so we want to make sure that we pick that one up, and then we pick up the additional Materia slot. Finally, we're going to have the last attack power boost, and we're going to make sure we leave out both Materia slots and the weapon attack, the magic attack, and pick up the HP. The limit break bonus is even better, and then we also have reprieve for the extra survival. And finally, for Aerith, we're going to have the reinforced staff, which is going to be her final weapon. The upgrades on this one are going to be more expensive than usual, kind of like Tifa's Purple Pain, because it is her last weapon. We went for the magic attack power bonuses because that's all she's really going to be using. She's not going to be using any physical attacks. And then we went for magic defense, and more MP the better. I was a little bit stingy with MP during my runs, so it's not entirely necessary for you guys to be equally as stingy, but the more MP will always be helpful. And then we went for the buff duration bonus, which is going to be crucial for keeping up mana wall. We want to keep mana wall up as much as possible because Bahamut is going to pretty much clear your entire team if you don't have it up. Mega Flare does do max damage, and if you don't have mana wall up, or if you do have mana wall up, then it'll only do half damage. For this next subcore, we're going to pick up all of the defensive bonuses, and then we're going to pick up the self-healing 50% boost with low HP. If anybody is low HP, we want to make sure that we can keep them alive by getting a good heal spike, keeping them healthy. Pick up that last Materia slot, and then we're going to get all the magic attack bonuses here. Magic defense as well, because Bahamut does do a lot of magic damage. And then we want the max MP plus 10. As much MP as possible is always helpful. Tempest damage for 5% boost is going to be helpful for when we spam Tempest to build Aerith's ATB. Physical defense isn't actually that necessary, so if you want to remove that, that'll save you an extra 16 SP. And then we pick up those last 2 Materia slots. Our final subcore will finish off with just the HP and the magic attack and reprieve to finish the set. For Cloud's equipment, we have Hard Edge, Chain Bangle, and Headband. Then for the Materia, we have Revive, Healing, 2 MP up, 2 HP up, Ice, Elemental, Steadfast Block, and ATB Boost. We're going to be using ATB Boost for clutch heals and revives, but if you don't feel like you need it, you can sub it for something else. Tifa setup starts with Purple Pain, Supreme Bracer, and Transference Module, and her Materia is going to be 2 HP up, 2 MP up, Healing, Revive, ATB Stagger, Elemental, and Ice. Finally, there's Aerith, and she's going to be using the Reinforced Staff, Force Bracelet, and Healing Carcanet. Her Materia is going to be Healing, Prayer, 2 MP up, 2 HP up, Magnify, Barrier, Revive, and an additional MP up because I didn't have them fully leveled. But if you do have them fully leveled, then you only need 2, and you can sub that for something like Lightning. And once you have all your Materia set, we're ready to take on a series of 5 boss fights. The first fight will be against Shiva, and our Materia setup will make this fight kind of trivial. If your element Materia is level 2 or 3, then you won't be taking any damage from her. However, if you're only using level 1 Materia, you'll still be able to take some damage, so make sure you're managing Aerith's ATB so she can heal accordingly. Since Cloud has sleep immunity through the headband, you'll be controlling him for most of the fight. The AI has a tendency to focus on the active character, so we don't have to worry about Whiteout putting anyone else to sleep since it'll mostly be targeting Cloud. Keep an eye on Tifa and Aerith's ATB and use it when appropriate. For Tifa, you want to maintain 2 stacks of Unbridled Strength at all times until Shiva is staggered. If Shiva is pressured, use Chi Trap in conjunction with Focus Strike to quickly build up the stagger. Once staggered, use True Strike whenever you have ATB built up, and use Rise and Fall followed by Omni Strike. As Cloud, I prefer to use Triple Strike during a stagger as each hit gradually does more damage. The animation for Infinity's End is rather lengthy, so I only choose to use it if it would be able to land the killing blow. Very little damage will be taken during this fight, so Aerith won't have much to do. If you find that she's sitting on 2 ATB, you can cast Arcane Ward and Thunder God if you brought it for a little extra damage. But don't get carried away because we want her to have a healthy amount of MP for heals for the remaining fights. However, feel free to use Ray of Judgment when Shiva is staggered. The only time you'll find that Aerith is in any kind of danger is after a Diamond Dust, since she is the only one that doesn't have Ice immunity. If she takes a significant amount of damage, heal her up and continue the fight. Fat Chocobo is another easy fight that doesn't take much effort. Right out of the gate, you want to go on the offensive. Fat Chocobo is extremely easy to pressure, so make sure Cloud and Tifa are using their focus attacks and that Tifa is keeping up Chi Trap. Try to save at least 1 ATB so Cloud can triple slash any mobs that Moogle spawns. Pay careful attention for any Tawn Berries. Make sure you do the same stagger combo you did with Shiva. Have 2 stacks of Unbridled Strength ready. Attack with 2 True Strikes, Rise and Fall, followed by Omni Strike. Any ATB acquired afterwards should be spent on more True Strikes to build up the stagger meter some more. Aerith will be a little more active with healing this time around. Use Tempest when Fat Chocobo is stationary to build ATB, but be sure to charge it so that way you can get multiple hits in. Feel free to use MP to heal, however you only get 50% of your total HP and MP back after the round is over, so make sure your MP doesn't go below half of your total MP. You can use Sorceress Storm to take care of mobs if you please, but it's not necessary since Cloud can do it himself with Triple Slash. To make this fight even easier, Carbuncle can make an appearance in the fight and cast Barrier on your party. Leviathan is when the difficulty really starts to ramp up. If you brought Thunderga on Aerith, now is her time to shine. Cast Arcane Ward and fire away on Leviathan's head to pressure him. Once pressured, have Tifa and Cloud use their focus attacks with a Chi Trap thrown into the mix. If you're like me and didn't bring Thunderga, the fight will be much more interesting. Since Aerith didn't have Lightning Materia, I had her focus on healing with Prey and using her MP to cast Mana Wall every now and then to dampen the damage. This will especially be helpful for when Leviathan uses Tidal Wave. If you took the upgrades on Tifa to do more aerial damage, you can target the head to do a bit more to the stagger meter. If you took the upgrades to do more damage to monster parts, you should focus on the fin instead. If you choose to attack the head, don't forget to set up a Chi Trap first. The head moves sporadically at times, but Tifa's aerial attacks can track it fairly well. If you're still having difficulties, just focus on the fin. There will come a point where Leviathan will use Tidal Roar. This attack spawns moving water spouts that will damage your party on contact. You can use Aerith to cast Arcane Ward and Thunderga until it comes down, but this may be somewhat MP intensive, so I prefer to use a summon and let the departing attack bring Leviathan down. I use Bahamut, but any summon should do. While you're waiting for the meter to finish, you can use your ATB for Bahamut's ranged attacks. Just be sure to use some of the ATB to heal any damage you take from the water spouts as well. Round 4 is usually where everyone's run ends. Bahamut is already difficult as it is, but you get the added bonus of having to take out Ifrit when Bahamut reaches 50% HP. Bahamut starts a 5-round count until he attacks with Mega Flare. Every time he initiates the next round, he'll be immobile for a moment. This is the best opportunity to lay down as much damage as possible. Deal enough damage to pressure him and unleash your Chi Trap and focus attacks as much as you can. However, don't count on staggering him before Mega Flare happens. This build pretty much prepares for the fact that you're gonna have to tank at least 1 Mega Flare. Up until this point, we've been using Aerith as our main healer, but Cloud and Tifa are equipped with healing and revive materia as well. If there was ever a time to use MP, it's now. You can use all the MP you need to because the 50% from winning will be enough to carry you through the next round. If you're taking too much damage from Bahamut's Umbral attacks, have Aerith keep Mana Wall up as much as you can. Be mindful of when you're getting your limit breaks. If Cloud and Tifa get their limit breaks before Bahamut summons Ifrit, save them and use them both on Ifrit to take him out of the fight almost as soon as he gets in. Unfortunately, I brought him down to 50% before I could get both of my limit breaks ready, so I had to tank a Mega Flare with Ifrit running around, and it almost cost me the run. It's time to go on the defensive when Bahamut's Mega Flare count reaches 1. He won't cast Mega Flare immediately after he activates his 1 count, so that's the time to conserve your ATB and use it for heals exclusively. Aerith absolutely must put up Mana Wall at this time to keep the party from taking max damage. If you do happen to get Mana Wall up, party members must be above 6000 HP to survive. If all else fails, hopefully Aerith and Tifa will survive with Reprieve and you can just heal them back up. Besides gaining a special helper, Bahamut's fairly predictable, so if you made it this far then you'll be tasting victory soon. His Mega Flare countdown will begin once more, but this time around you should be able to do enough to stagger him. As soon as you get the stagger, do your stagger combo with Tifa and pound on him with your strongest attacks. You can use your limit breaks almost at any time they come up. If he's close to being staggered, your limit break should seal the deal. If he's staggered already, your limit break should do massive damage. If he survives being staggered, there isn't really any point in waiting for another stagger to use your limit breaks, so unleash them when you have the opportunity. The best time would be when he is stationary during a countdown. You've seen the worst of it once you've beaten Bahamut, but don't get lazy because it would be a shame to lose after you've gotten this far. Pride and Joy Prototype is a fairly simple fight, but his attacks can still hurt, so stay vigilant and keep mana wall up if you need some relief. Pride and Joy Prototype's legs are targetable, so that's where you should direct your damage, especially if you have upgrades to deal additional damage to monster parts. Most of Pride and Joy's attacks can easily be avoided by attacking from the rear. Keeping a rear position will be key to staying safe for this fight. Pride and Joy would be substantially easier if you brought Lightning Materia. If you did happen to bring it, cast Arcane Ward and Thundaga to immobilize Pride and Joy, making it easier to attack safely. Once you've defeated Pride and Joy, you'll be rewarded with the Ultimate Weapon trophy and receive the best accessory in the game. Thanks for watching, and if this video helped you at all, please let me know and I'll consider making more guides in the future. This guide was simply to learn and expose myself to the editing process for a separate channel I'll be making in the future. If you want to know more, feel free to subscribe and stay tuned to know when my new channel will be launched.